Every day, volunteers help organizations achieve their mission by visiting older adults, clearing trails, serving as a photographer for events, and so much more. While organizational leaders usually recognize that volunteers provide valuable support and services, many still make decisions based on misconceptions about volunteer engagement, based on widely held myths. You, however, are in the unique position to address these misconceptions so that your organization can more meaningfully tap into volunteer talent for mission fulfillment. To help you embrace your role as Mythbuster, I'm happy to share our top 5 myths that we see in our work across North America, along with tactics to help you bust them. I'm Beth Steinhorn, president of VQ Volunteer Strategies, and welcome to Mythbusting 101: 5 days, 5 myths, 5 ways to be a volunteer engagement mythbuster. Today, we have moved on to number 3 in our countdown. We've already covered myth number 5: success is measured in hours and dollars, and myth number 4: volunteers are free. So, what's number 3? Volunteers are a program, not a strategy. What does it mean to be considered a program? It indicates that engaging volunteers is one of the services that an organization provides, on equal footing to the food programs or education programs, athletic programs, or exhibitions offered. Programs have a purpose and an audience. And while it's common for leaders to talk about volunteer program, this terminology can be misleading because when volunteers are considered a program, then volunteers themselves are considered program participants. They are an audience to be served. Consequently, volunteers can be pitted against or in competition with other program participants for resources. As we have seen over and over again, especially in recent years, organizations that are faced with making decisions or difficult decisions around program cuts can strongly consider cutting a volunteer program in order to save programs that directly serve clients. However, that can undermine your ultimate purpose. When volunteer engagement is presented as a strategy, then volunteers are more accurately viewed as partners with staff to achieve mission, to serve those critical clients, and they can be tapped in all areas of operations. For if you cut back a volunteer program, then you risk undermining the reach and success of all other programs that volunteers make possible and support through their skills, talents, and passions. So, how can you bust the myth and influence how your organization's volunteer embraces volunteer engagement as a strategy? Well, consider where volunteer engagement lives in your organizational chart. Is it in a program department or is it in a position that provides organization-wide support? Advocate to have volunteer engagement represented in your strategic plan. Help your colleagues answer the question, how will volunteers help achieve each of these priorities that are articulated in our strategic plan? And finally, acknowledge all staff who supervise volunteers and embrace your role as an internal consultant to these colleagues across your entire organization. By doing this, you will not only help bust the myth that volunteers are a program, but also move the needle on how volunteers can be leveraged as partners in enhancing all areas of operations across your organization as a vital resource. Tune in tomorrow for myth number 2 in our countdown of the 5 volunteer engagement myths in Mythbusting 101: 5 days, 5 myths, 5 ways to be a volunteer engagement mythbuster.